So, hello everyone. Once again, I am Biscuits and/or Mighty Space Fruit, one or the other, and we're taking a look here at this hybrid group stage from the Coast Guard bracket. I believe this is the lowest bracket in the hybrid division, at least. I don't know how low the other divisions might be. Depends on the signups. We have here in the purple DaSwedishbeast, where I can already tell I'm struggling to say that name, so I'll probably just be Beast, or I might keep saying the same name and repeatedly failing. We'll see how that goes. And they are playing the Persians, and we have in the it's kind of like teal, maybe cyan. I guess I'd probably call this teal. In the teal on the Lithuanians, we have PickledCabbage. So Lithuanians is kind of an interesting pick here. We do have the relics here in the middle. It looks like 5 relics. Doesn't look like there's any relics here on the outside. So if you're playing Lithuanians and you want to go for the relics, you have to make sure you secure the middle here. Persians are a great hybrid civ. They have a good eco with their faster working TC in general. And their docks also work faster and they have more HP. So these pawns here on the left and right are going to be pretty important to secure. In general, on hybrid maps, probably in almost every case, you're going to want to go for the fish, at least at some point. At least get 3 or 4 fishing ships out. You don't want to overcommit because, right, at some point this fish runs out and any sort of warships you have on either side here are not going to work long term because, unfortunately, unless you have a TC built like right here, they're not really going to be able to do any damage to the land presence here. So, we might see, I assume we're probably going to see some docks, and we might see scouts, or you could see archers. I think scouts is probably better on this kind of large open map. I don't know if the archers, I mean, we could see some good damage with archers with sort of fletching and a few spears to back up, but, you know, it's a pretty good move to go for the stable opening here, I think, and those would pick off any archers without fletching, especially if there's only a few of them. And, of course, you get the extra food eco, so you don't get extra food eco from the fish. So that will, you know, you collect that faster than you would a bunch of farms, so that's going to be extra good for going for a scout opening. We see, it looks like 5 on wood for the Persian player and just 4 on wood for PickledCabbage. I don't know what the optimal build order is for hybrid going for the early dock and water. I think it kind of looks like purple here is maybe got a little too much on wood before placing the dock because they have quite a bit. Oh, sorry, never mind. I completely missed this. That's totally fine. Dock coming up. It's a little late for the Lithuanian player. Probably need a few more on wood, but that's fine as long as they get the dock up at some point. You could look at this as a problem because the Persian player has the dock up, which does mean they'll have fishing ships out first. But until they're up to feudal, there's no way to contest the enemy's dock. So that's still not an issue. If they get up to a similar time on feudal and they both have docks up, then they can both be producing more, presumably fire galleys is what we'll see. Just doing a normal galley on this small of a area is just asking to lose all your APM, and that could be trouble. So we do see the dock will come up on the same pond here for a cabbage. We'll see it's a big deal on a map like this who gets up to feudal first, because that means you can produce, as I said, military out of your dock first. It means you can contest the enemy's water presence. Beast has not picked up their boar yet, so they might be a little slower to click up. But they do have 2 fishing ships out, almost 3, which is going to be good for them. I do believe having the boars is going to get you to feudal first quicker before the fish will. But that being said, this will still be very nice for the Beast here. And we're probably going to see the Lithuanian player click up pretty soon. I believe they already clicked loom. So yes, they do have loom. This villager is very thankful for having some kind of armor. Pushing in some deer. I do like deciding to push the deer after the dock is up and after you take the boar, so you don't, you know, end up messing things up. It can be quite messy if you try and push a push a deer and get a boar at the same time. We don't look like the deer have been boxed out here except for this one. This looks like it's kind of a loner ibex here who's kind of doing their own thing, kind of pretending to be a person, is working up the courage to try and talk to these people, see if they can pick up an axe. But I don't mind, honestly, just ignoring the deer at this point and going for the dock, and ideally going from some scouting as well. Really like to see this scout go over here, but if it's also on auto scout, I don't mind that either, to be honest, as long as it's not sitting there idle. We're going to see the Vil will be just fine because they have Loom. A little far from the TC, but that's not a big deal. Didn't lose a Vil, which is, I think, worse. And we do see the Lithuanian player clicking up first, even though their dock was late, but because they had their boar collected first, they're going to click up first, which could spell trouble for our Persian player. This pawn is, however, uncontested entirely, so either player could at some point invest in here and get some more fish up. You see gold mining camp coming. Oh, interesting. A castle play for the center. Or, sorry, it's not a castle at all. It's a very small castle. A tower. Interesting. Secure the middle. Might have been expecting some early aggression from the beast, but not currently in feudal just yet, so can't do anything of the sort. We don't have any fires out, which is a little disappointing because Lithuanian player got the lead first, but not a huge deal. So I assume we're going to get this tower up and then collect these berries. The berries are not super lucrative here as a Lithuanian player because they, well, they don't collect faster, but I think the idea here is just to take control of the middle, which I do like the idea of for sure. We don't even have a barracks up for PickledCabbage, so it kind of looks like... And we're also getting the res. It kind of looks like you're going to click up to castle pretty soon. So I assume that's why the tower is up, because, you know, they're expecting... Because I don't have any military presence out, and I want to click up to castle, I'm going to see some trouble. So get a tower out. And we do see the stable for the Swedish player. I don't know if this player is Swedish. But the purple player is what I wanted to say. And the fire is coming out for the beast. Looks like, oh, fire is coming out for the Lithuanian player as well. But the fire will come out for the Persian player first. So we'll see how that ends up. Stable's coming out, and we will probably see some scouts out soon. So, fortunately, this tower will protect the Vils here. It's also kind of awkward to path around these berries, which is extra bad news for the scout player. One scout running by is going to see the tower. We'll see how they choose to react. However, PickledCabbage is still pretty exposed at home. Mostly, well, this is nicely walled here, but these gold bills for sure could be hit. Castle Age is probably going to come in pretty soon, though. And it looks like a bit of a standoff, but the teal player is going to come in with the fire and look menacingly from a distance. We do have some scouts coming in again. 3. We could dive this tower. I think probably get a pick. Ideally, you'd garrison your Vils here. I think this one is a little too far out, though, unfortunately. It is going to get picked off. See a blacksmith coming up. We still need a second building, however. Which could be... Probably have to be a market because we don't have a barracks to drop a range or a stable. Floating quite a lot of wood for our Persian player. You could either... Okay, yeah. I was going to say either drop a dock, invest in some more fish, or drop some farms. You might see both. I'm going to spend that wood on something. Some more scouts coming out. Hopefully you can garrison those. Unfortunately, not quite able to react in time. Quite a lot of scouts out. Quite threatening at this point. You do have, looks like 3 fires now. Now this is, adding an extra dock is a bit of an overcommitment, I would say. There's still a good amount of fish, and it is good. I mean, this looks pretty secure. The Persian player would have to commit quite a lot to actually fight back. Now this is the problem here. There are some low HP scouts, but we don't have anything to fight against. The barracks is going to come up, and with some spears, we should be able to ward this off. But I think these Vils are probably dead at this point. And we also haven't clicked up to castle yet either. Really like to see just drop a market, but you know, barracks is also quite helpful here. If we add a few more I don't think we need any more fires here. If we add some more fishing ships, that'd be good. So these vills are unfortunately going to go down. Tower, not quite enough just against a bunch of scouts. You really need a few spears to back things up. But we do have spears coming up now, which will be good for teal. And you see now, because the beast here reacted well and decided to move over here to the other dock. Scouts coming in. Shouldn't be able to find too much more damage with more spears coming out, as they are also quite low HP. I think does look like it's pretty much fully walled over here. We do have a lot on gold, so I really would like to see a market for sure drop from cabbage. Bloodline's also coming in for purple, which makes these scouts extra threatening. But with walls, as long as we place some houses. Oh yeah, okay, and it's stable. That's fine. But we still would really like to see a market, to be honest. So this is good, but I think this is too many fires is the problem that cabbage ran into. It's good to secure this fish. That's great. But, you know, at this point, right, the beast got kicked off kind of earlier, so the extra 2, maybe 3 fires didn't really contribute to much. And this is very nice coming around from the purple player here. There are some low scouts, and with the spears, you should be able to fight this off, but you might take some damage. But I think, yeah, I think fighting back is still the better option, especially if you can kill off scouts. That's 2 scouts dead. What you really want to do is clear up this army so you don't have to keep dealing with them. We're flowing a lot of wood, so hopefully we see some either farms or you could go over to the other dock. But I'd probably recommend just farms at this point. It's a little more secure, and you don't know what's going on at the other pond. I also don't mind gathering these berries, but they are, you know, slower. And this is still more exposed than if you were just farming under your TC. Like, you look at, purple has dropped a bunch of farms here, kind of uncontested, undamaged at home. Because the scouts are doing some great work. We do see the market coming out, and a spear is here to defend. I think these vills should be fine. Yeah, it should be fine with this spear here. We see, oh my god, we're going to see 3 stables. And the purple player has clicked up. So I assume we're probably going to see a bunch of knights coming in shortly. And unfortunately, I had to spend a lot of food into spears and vills. So Lithuanian player is going to be a little slower, but there's still a lot of floating res, so you could buy some food. You could drop some farms. You see, this pond is now uncontested for purple. So even though we cleaned up here, they were able to come around. And they also do have a very nice farmer eco. Because unlike how the Lithuanian player was attacked early with a bunch of scouts, the Persian player was pretty much untouched. But looks like we're going to click up pretty soon for cabbage. So we'll see how they fare against the Castle Age Persian player. Getting the armor as well, which I like. We also already have bloodlines, which is great. Which means we can hit Castle Age with some bloodline knights. These scouts coming in. Luckily, there are spears here to ward anything off. More spears coming in. 8 spears now for cabbage, which, although, you know, feudal age spears are not going to do great against knights. If those are able to get upgraded into pikes, then that'll do pretty well. Still a pretty nice amount here. Castle Age will come in about just under 2 minutes for cabbage. But the beast is up to castle already and is making knights. Already 3 knights out. It's going to spell a bit of trouble for cabbage. So at this point, you're going to want to wall this. This is quite far to wall, but it is... You could consider it, but maybe just start a wall here and like here. Or like here or something like that. Because we don't... Until we're up to castle, we don't really have the tools to fight against this. So we want to delay as long as possible. But we do see some nice hits. And the knights were messing around, faffing about before they actually got any engagement. So we're going to do pretty well here with the spears. And the tower fire is actually quite nice as well. So actually that's pretty good trade for purple. And these scouts are also going down. We see a lot of stone being gathered. Looks like cabbage wants to drop a castle. I'm not sure if that's going to be in the middle defensively or even aggressive. So the spears did well, but the problem is that we have more knights coming in. We don't have more spears. And you don't really want to fight against that with your vills. But we do see knights coming out now for the Lithuanian player. Can challenge these knights. We don't have bloodlines and we don't have the armor in, however, so they are going to be worse off unless we gather some relics. Which hopefully we do see, because you're going to want, as the Lithuanians, of course, you want to grab the relics for the extra attack, and also monks are going to just do very well against a pure knight build from the Persian player. I'm really challenging my ability to say many consecutive P's with all of the purple and player and Persian that I'm doing. I do apologize for all of the horrible plosives you're probably hearing because I don't have a pop filter or anything for my mic. I like this kind of... It's quite far forward, but I like this walling here with the buildings. I'm not sure if this is ever going to be an issue with a hole in the side. Nice walling of 2, of course, from Cabbage. It prevented a lot of damage. I mean, there was still damage with the scouts coming in, but this is still quite nice walling to prevent coming in from the side. Castle is coming up in the center, and I think there's no way the Persian player can contest. And this is quite good, actually, because if we drop a monastery, we do see a monastery already for the Persians, but not yet for the Lithuanian. I think that's probably... Oh, never mind, I'm blind. We do see monks coming up. Gather these relics. So yeah, the knights are going to come around this side, but there's the... Yeah, it's pretty well defended, and TC's coming up here too, of course. Knights can batter these things down quite well, but it gives us time to either, repair, drop something else, get a monk out, and yeah, the knights aren't going to find any damage there. So this is a pretty good position. Protects the gold, can get the relics pretty safely, but I still would like to see some walls here, or something like that, just so you're fully walled, because these knights are going to come around and find some damage, or at least look for some damage. Although with the second TC, we are going to be much more secure. And this is like pretty nice little alcove. Kind of inefficient, but it is still safe. First relic coming in. So your knights are going to be stronger now. We still don't have upgrades on our knights, which I would like to see. We have the second armor for the beast, which is going to work quite well for raiding. But there's a nice garrison from Teal to avoid any damage. Second relic coming in. And I mean, unless we see a little sneak monk, which I would love to see, grab this or this. I think all these relics are going to be pretty safe under the Lithuanian player's control. But we do see some monks come around with their defended here. This could get a pretty big swing whenever you get knight on knight action and you get some conversions with a monk or two. It's a pretty big deal. Knights coming back around. Gonna test, oh, maybe not. I was gonna say, gonna test Cabbage's, awareness. There's more knights, you don't want to fight that. And your knights are also still lacking quite a bit of upgrades. But if we get conversion, that'd be good. I think we are gonna see one. Pretty slow angle there. Yep, we're gonna see one conversion. It's great for the Lithuanian player. And we have pikes out too, which is very nice if we see the camel pick, or a camel, not sure if I call it a switch, but we could mix in some camels, that's fine. And of course, they're going to do good versus monk, because you don't really want to convert the... You'd rather spend your monks converting knights than pikes. So this looks like a pretty even fight, but I think just a slightly better engagement for the Lithuanian player. We have a +3 on the knights now, with 2 relics. We'd like to see you gather the rest. 2 relics and forging, but we still, we could still use the armor. This is a lot of knights out for the Persian player. Could maybe consider dropping a castle or a siege workshop over here. This is quite well defended, so you're gonna have trouble finding damage unless you pick off like this, which is nice. Another engagement down here. Looks like the Cabbage is gonna clean up there. I'm gonna say Cabbage. I don't know what that is. There's a lot of knights. A lot of knights for the Persians. So I'd really like to see like the issue forced maybe over here or here. This is quite well defended. We have a monastery. You can get monks out. We have a castle for garrisoning. I mean, there's a lot of knights. You really have to respect this as the teal player. And 1 pike is converted, which is less a big deal than if a knight was converted. And it looks like, yeah, we did we grabbed one of those relics as the Persian player, which is really nice. I think we might be going for this one too. That'd be great if they could grab it. And we do see There is an opening now that could be taken advantage. But, I mean, you this is so many knights with bloodlines and the armor. You could really threaten this quite a bit. Oh, see, the stone wall is nice. But really, you know, get a mango, get a castle or something. You could do a lot of damage on this side. See, the second relic grab for the purple player, which is nice. We're going to see 3 relics for Lithuanian, but not the 4, which they really wanted. And it's really good for the Persian player to grab those relics. Sneaky relics. So even though we're on 1 TC versus 2 TC, it is a Persian TC. And we've done a lot of damage. We've killed a lot of eco, so we're actually still ahead for the purple player. But yeah, this is a lot of knights. So you need to bring your military over here. You're going to need to defend from this. You see some stonewalling, but I think it's going to be... It's great for this side, but it's going to be a little too late for this. You could still stonewall here. But it looks like the knights are going to come in. Do we see... Okay, we see some military coming over, but this is a pretty dangerous cluster. I think we're going to see a lot of damage for the beast here. Or maybe not. I think you really can go in there and do a lot of damage. Forcing idle time is also good. Force them off the goal, that's also good. I don't mind if we sit here, grab some siege. We could get some battering rams. I think that's for the castle. Which I don't mind either, to be honest, if you have a pretty good big clump. You can look at how much army the beast has. Bear's coming up. I think this is probably part of the wall and probably just also for some more pikes. Yeah, even knights are gonna take a long time to get through these stone walls. But again, there's still a hole here. And I actually think you could still take this fight if you can get around it, but not necessarily a good fight. So yeah, against this castle. Okay, so we do see still a little hesitant, and this is kind of a bad engagement for the beast. But this is a lot of knights, right? What is this? It's like 40 knights, 38 knights, 38 knights fully upgraded. Persian player, or sorry, the Lithuanian player still missing the armor, still missing bloodlines. We are missing husbandry, it looks like, for the purple player, but they are as tanky as they can be right now. And you know, so the thing is, against the castle, one thing you can do if you get a bunch of battering rams, you could kill this. You could just go for Imperial Age yourself. Drop a castle, maybe here defend this gold, maybe defend the stone, or like here, for example. Maybe now is not a good time because the army is here and Cabbage is aware. But with a Treb or with some cannons, you can definitely kill this. That's why castles are very dangerous in Castle Age. You don't really have the tools to break them down. This is a lot of knights. And they're kind of not being very useful right now. But Persian players still being very good, producing a lot of vills. I think they're thinking about going to Imp now. It looks like they're idling TC. Imp is going to be in for the Lithuanian player first, but it'll be in for Persian player first. And thanks to the faster working TC, it'll actually be in about the same time. There is no castle, however, to produce Trebs for the beast. We can get chemistry and get some bombard cannons, but I don't see a university. So ideally, I'd like to see a castle, to be honest, because then you can make Trebs immediately the moment you hit Imp. Maybe go for a defensive castle, because your player's going to be up to Imp soon. Well, I'm not sure. I mean, that's hard to know at this point, but essentially, we see a pretty big lead for the beast, even with the 2 TCs. Done a great job of keeping the TC working here. This is a huge push. I'm not sure if I like this. It's quite gutsy. If you're going up to Imp, you might want to wait till you get the techs in, but this is a lot of army. Kind of have to respect it, so we'll see how this goes. I like engaging over here so that the battering rams can come around the side. I don't think, yeah, Teal doesn't quite have enough army here to really defend. And there's no murder holes. We're not the Teutons. These vills are going to get picked off by the knights. Also, danger here is the monasteries here with the relics, which you really want to hold on to as a Lithuanian player. So I actually do like this push, but I kind of wish it was a little earlier before the enemy got up to imp. But it looks like we might actually kill the castle before any trebs are able to be made. Okay, Cavalier's coming in. And I think this, yeah, it's going to go down. So a great push. Had more army. Well positioned. And now I would say drop a forward castle as the Persian player, either on this sort of area, or you could consider over here. I would actually say over here because you want to make some trebs. And these relics are now gone for the Lithuanian player, which is quite bad. And I mean, eventually the pikes will do well. Halb is also coming in. But we need more racks to produce more of them. And they're also... I'm not missing armor. I mean, they will do well, but this is a lot of knights. This is a lot of cavalier. Almost about to have their third armor in as well. So, eventually your Halbs will be able to clean this up. But right now it's a big problem. And we're going to need more racks, honestly, to be able to produce enough. I think these rams should be able to get cleared up. And now the beast is taking a very good position. These rams are going to die. I guess it's okay. I mean, it's kind of wasteful. You could take it around here, but not a huge deal. Clears up more space for some more Savars now about to be. That's going to be a real big issue for Cabbage. We don't yet have, like, great siege for pushing a castle. We are going to have more rams being produced, which I don't mind. But that's why it's a little wasteful that we lost all of those rams if we were going to make more. Also going in before the Savar upgrade comes in, which is I wouldn't recommend it, but there is so much here, not quite enough army for Cabbage to push this away. So we're going to find some damage. We might lose some Cavalier on the way, but we already have a big eco lead, so any more kills here is only going to be worse and worse for Teal. And yeah, I mean, there's not enough army for Lithuanian player here, so they think they could just kill this castle, actually. Or sorry, castle. TC. Especially this Var upgrade coming in pretty soon. Flowing a lot of wood. We can drop a whole bunch of farms for the beast. That's looking like a pretty bad spot for a Lithuanian player here. Especially with Savar about to come in. Between the Savar and the Rams, this castle can go down for sure. We don't really have the army. We are producing out of these barracks, which is good, but we don't have enough. We did lose quite a bit of Savar, but we still have a pretty big mass because we're just fighting against TC Fire, which, of course, Savars are quite good at dealing with their 8 Pierce armor. And we're just going to get out. So yeah, I would like to see these Rams be supported if you're going to push with them, because the Halbs are just going to come in and kill those, but the beast is in pretty commanding position. Also, I would really love to see wait for the siege ram to come in. I presume the rally point is just over here. And we do have another castle coming in, which I would consider a little wasteful, but it is a pretty strong defensive position here. Still have to really respect the Savar mass, though. We're going to get more Halbs out, but we're at a pretty big disadvantage. We have 0 on wood, 0 on gold, 0 on stone. So our eco is just way behind now the Persian player. So you could just drop a castle, get chemistry, make some trebs, make some bomber cannons, and easily kill these. But the beast is pretty bloodthirsty, it seems. Maybe fitting for the name. I'm not sure if Swedish beasts are more bloodthirsty than normal ones. But yeah, it's a good idea just to pull the Savar back, get a castle up, get some trebs, and then the Lithuanian player doesn't really have anything to defend against, or defend with rather. Some of this fishing eco is actually fairly nice for cabbage. So at least there is that, because these farms are not currently being worked. But it's going to be quite hard for cabbage here to fight off in this position at this point. See, light is coming in, but we have 40 Savar, or will be 40 Savar for the Persian player. I do like it expanding out here. These fish are doing nothing. They're like making a little line here. This is the point where I would just delete these because they come up in the idle eco. It's quite annoying. You could also draw some fish traps. You have enough wood for it. And I assume we're going to see some trebs. There it is. Yep. Yeah. Cabbage doesn't have the eco to make their own trebs to fight against this. And I don't know if... they do have bombard cannon, but they don't have the eco to produce that either. And this is kind of the classic Persian plan here. You know, get the better eco, make a bunch of knights, go into Savar, and even though it's only 1 TC, purple player never had their eco attacked, apart from the fishing over here. Kept the TC working. I was just able to make a bunch of vills, and I was able to make a whole lot of knights. We saw 3 stables producing out as soon as Castle Age was hit. So this is kind of the last stand here. These 2 castles are the only defensive position, and they are going down, and Cabbage is going to call the GG. So yeah, I really liked Cabbage's plan to take the middle. The tower is quite a big investment, but I don't mind it if we had some spears to back them up. It kind of seemed like Cabbage might have been thinking about a fast castle, or fast-ish castle, I guess I should say. Going to castle-like without making a lot of military. But didn't quite have the buildings for it. They had the res, but didn't quite have the buildings. And was kind of over-investing into the middle. Is the thing, the berries are good, but unless you're Franks, right, or unless you're Portuguese, they are just berries. So it's not like a huge bonus. The fish is way better. And I think it was good for Cabbage to destroy the Persian player's fish, but kind of made a few too many fires and sort of over-invested. And then good awareness from the purple player to get over here. But I think really the big nail in the coffin was the fact that Cabbage never was able to get into the Persian player's eco, never do any damage. So they were always defending, and they were always playing basically to not lose. And they weren't really playing to win because they couldn't get any damage over here. So, you know, I would say if you're going to go for the middle, you're going to need some spears or at least something else to defend. I think with some spears, there would the vills would have been fine. But I think the fish is more important than the berries. But I do like the middle castle to take the defensive position. But hopefully, really what you needed to do is try and get some damage in here on your enemy. You know, when you're quite behind, especially economically, you want to play a riskier, right? I don't know if this was the play, but if you had managed to somehow to get a castle in here, that would have been really big trouble for the Persian player. But that is all for now. Let us get to game number 2. Hello, everyone. Here we are in game number 2 of this specialist hybrid set in the group stage. Game number 1, we had a win for DaSwedishbeast as the Persians. And now we have the Beast again here in purple, but on the Italians. And here, Cabbage, PickledCabbage that is, in the teal on Malians. Here on Evacuation. So, Evacuation, I think it's a map that was played in, I think it was Hidden Cup that was played in. And the thing about this one is on the cracked terrain, your buildings take more damage, and the resources are generally kind of sparse over here. So at some point, you're going to want to evacuate over here and take advantage of all the nice resources that you have. There is fish. It's not a huge amount, but this is a respectable amount, actually. But not actually that much now that I look at it. But definitely something you want to consider. Again, on a hybrid map, you usually want to go for the water in some point because the fish is very nice. But you don't want to overcommit. I think we sort of saw that from Cabbage on the previous game. It was good to go for the fish and good to contest the enemies, but made a few too many fires and wasn't able to make enough land military to defend themselves on the land. But we'll see how this thing goes. So Italians versus Malians. The Italians are quite nice as a hybrid civ. Their fishing ships are cheaper. Their dock techs are cheaper. And the university is cheaper as well. And they also have a cheaper age up, which is quite nice on a hybrid map because the first to feudal is the player who can make military out of their dock first and attack the enemy's dock or their enemy's fish. So we'll see if that comes into play. Malians are... I've seen them picked quite a bit on hybrid. I believe it's... I guess it's mainly just for the fact that they have a nice sort of wood discount on their buildings, which is good because, you know, when you're going for fish, you have quite a bit of wood investment. You have the dock, 175 wood, and the ships themselves, which are 75 wood apiece. And then if you do go to fishing traps later, which we don't see that often, to be honest, it's 100 wood. That's quite expensive. So the extra wood savings are quite nice. And they are a nice civ as well if you have a little more constraint on your gold because they're villagers, they're gold miners. They, in general, they produce more gold. I guess is how I would phrase it. I believe the technical phrase is they drop off more gold. So basically their gold is going to last longer and they are a little more efficient. I don't know the exact math of that. You got to ask Spirit of Law, not me for that one. But interestingly, we don't see a lumber camp at all for cabbage. We do see a bunch of houses. But they are coming forward. Oh, interesting. We're going to see a lumber camp over here. Okay. So, I think the idea here is, well, eventually want to get over here. So why not go there now? Now, it's not necessarily a bad idea, but this is going to be more exposed because you're splitting yourself between this here and this here. So we'll see how that ends up. The Swedish... Oh my god, I would say the Swedish player. No. Well, maybe the Swedish player. I don't know. The Swedish beast, rather, is going for fish. So they're going to have some nice eco there. Looks like the teal player might not go for the fish at all here. Or maybe is going for a dock here or here or something like that. You could just grab these boars, I suppose, if you wanted to. You know, all this hunt, all these cows. If you want, that kind of things like that might be the play here. Which could actually work out quite well for the teal player if we see a huge investment into the water here. Which is fine, you know, fine to make fishing ships, but maybe the Italian player will end up making some fires that end up doing basically nothing. In theory, you could get some demos here on these crossings, which could do some big damage, but that is quite dependent on that working out. And the purple player is also going for the mainland, going for some hunt. Very nice. I don't believe there is any hunt on the starting maps other than the 2 starting boars that you get. And we might see a click up from the Malian player pretty soon. Quite have the res for it. Mill's going to be dropped for presumably this hunt and the berries. Very nice. And it's kind of interesting. I haven't seen this map played that much, so I'm not sure if... I mean, the fish seems kind of sad, actually. It is still going to be good, but if you're able to get all this hunt, I wonder if that might actually be better, or at least equivalent. And Feudal is clicked up for the Malian player first. We see some scout fighting. Feudal Age coming in a little later for purple. See if that's a big deal. Fortunately for them, their opponent is going for the navy or the water now, but didn't have it ready. So they might be considering just dropping some fires or something, mess with their enemy. There's a nice shorefish you can grab with the Vil, which is a nice addition. Well, we'll see if the looks like about a minute difference plays a role. The scout is going to come over. Is going to see all of this. This scout will be into feudal first, which means they're faster and they're more dangerous in general. So could chase that purple one down and kill it. Barracks coming up for the Italian player. We could definitely see a scout rush from them again. Would be quite nice to try and get in on these exposed Vils. Back home we have stone and gold. And we have the wooden food. And indeed, the feudal advantage is going to work in Teal's favor, and the scout is going to go down. But Purple does know about this, so they can come in. And if they train some scouts... Ooh, we see some militia. Okay. Interesting. And a fire is coming out for Teal. I wonder if we're going to see that do some damage. They don't know about where their enemy's dock is, but if they send out fire, they will be able to find out soon enough. And they also don't necessarily know about this over here. Tower is dropped. And we'll defend nicely against any aggression here from the purple player. I'd like to see both players getting double bit X. I presume there's some stone gathered here for the tower. I'm not sure if Malian player might go for another tower, or maybe that was just to make sure they had enough. Okay, and this time we do see a range drop from DaSwedishbeast. Archers are pretty nice on Italians. They don't have to go archers, but they have... I don't know if it's fully upgraded, but it's close to it. I think it's... Yeah, it kind of looks like it's about... It is fully upgraded. And they always have the option of going into Genoese crossbowmen as their unique unit, which are archers that have a bonus against cavalry, which is actually quite nice against the Malians, because the Malians, long term, probably want to go for their Farimba, their +5 cavalry. And it is good to have the option of going the Genoese crossbowmen, which are going to be very good against some cavalry units. Fired, unfortunately, just sort of sitting here. Doesn't really want to go to work and look for people to kill, but could go over here and just kill all of this. We don't see any military on the water being produced from the Italian player. And I hope, I think this is fine. I hope we don't really see any more fires. We haven't seen any navy from the enemy, so, and these also fires aren't really doing anything at the moment. So, yeah, I prefer to see the fishing ships added instead. It's kind of a nice little alcove for Cabbage here. We do have man-at-arms coming, but it's a little late, and we have the defenses up for Cabbage. But we'll see what they can do. They could kill this palisade and maybe pick off this ville. But the barracks is up, and we have a nice little alcove shape here. And the tower is also going to do nicely against these man-at-arms. And they are... Well, they could pick off this ville, if the ville is a little slow. No, not quite. Hopefully this boar is picked up at some point, by the way. You could lane this as the purple player, just kill that. Range is dropped. It's getting a little cramped in here, but it does wall these villes in by the wood. That is nice. Okay, and the man-at-arms are looking for the mainland instead. I like that choice. You know, this is pretty well defended. It doesn't look like you get much damage with your melee units, so maybe see if you can get some picks here. It's still pretty secure here. You could maybe pick up a gold mining ville here, or maybe one of the stone miners. You can pull them back to the TC, but it's only if Cabbage is quick enough. And we kind of see, it looks like once again, Cabbage is going for a little more defensive. We'll see if they're able to hit the enemy. I think the big problem for them last game is they just was never able to hit Purple's eco. So Purple's eco went kind of uncontested. But either we haven't really seen much damage on either player's eco. So they're pretty even at this moment. A little more eco for Teal. I don't mind this choice. You know, it doesn't look like you really find much damage elsewhere, so maybe just kill a house better than nothing. 2 archers will be able to clean this up, but no fletching. It will take a while, and those will need to be microed as well. See some more archers out. There are a couple archers out, a couple spears. Castle Age is clicked for purple, and they're coming forward. I wonder if there's going to be a forward tower, maybe on the back of this wood line here to hit it. I like this archer. I'm not sure if this is intentional, but I do like this archer just sort of sitting here, giving some vision. See a nice wall over here. I would probably say, well, maybe not. I was going to say wall here, but then maybe at the wall here, and that's kind of a lot. So I guess that's okay. Oh, yeah, we do see a tower. Interesting. Let's see how Cabbage deals with this this aggression. See, we'll be able to click up pretty soon for Cabbage. We can see that, but that is if Teal's noticed. Here's some vills coming over, another dock. Oh, okay, interesting. counter tower. Fletching will be in for both players. I think the purple tower comes in first. And I'm not sure if this tower is going to go up. It looks like it will go up, but it will die eventually with not having enough Vills garrison. So that's not great. I would say if you're teal, just abandon this, go for this wood line instead. Pretty cool look. I like the tower of I like the look of the Malian tower. Yeah, we have an ungarrisoned tower, and the other one is garrisoned now with 3 archers, so this will go down. Castle Age is in for the Italians, but Castle Age is just now clicked for the Malian player. Let's see, we do see... I don't see any knights. We're going to see crossbow, which is... hopefully we see another range. It's going to take a lot to get a big mass of archers. But yeah, as a Malian player, we need some wood, so really go for this. Or you could honestly consider going for one of these patches of wood. Currently these Vills are thinking about what they want to do. Looks like they might go home. Or, okay, yeah, so we do see a lumberjack over here. Very nice. And we're also going to see the repairs. I mean, it's a little unnecessary, but, you know, that's just fine. Make sure the tower does not die. You know, at this point, it's purple. You can drop a forward siege workshop and clean up pretty much all of this. We do have archers for the Malian player, but they're not in castle yet, so they cannot have bodkin or crossbow. Oh, interesting. War galley coming in for purple. I think I must have completely missed a... kind of looks like we have a ceasefire right now, actually. Pretty big investment to get this upgrade here. But... and you don't even have any fish to defend either. So it seems a little wasteful to me, but... you know, maybe they'll find some damage. We'll see. Oh, a castle being dropped. Ooh, and forging as well. I think we're going to see some Gibettos from the Malian player here. I would have preferred if this castle defended like a gold or something, but it does protect this wood line, and if we wall here, it, you know, basically defends this, right? Kind of prevents any enemies from coming through here. Yeah, we see fires engaged now, but this is fire ship against fire galleys, so it will not work out well for the galleys. Although it is 2v1, so I guess never mind what I said. It'll work out just fine. But the purple player is getting some damage in with their own fires. I don't think these fishing ships are a huge deal. Okay, I like this TC. I was going to say consider walling here, but this is also very nice. You got the gold, stone, and wood. Very nice. Men-at-arms have just kind of, I think they're considering deserting, to be honest. I think they're kind of not really worried about fighting anymore. You see a single Gibetto. I think we're probably going to see some more. I think we're missing food for more as we lost our fish. At this point, I would just like to see, just drop some farms, especially with this TC. You can also get this boar as well. That'd be nice. And, look at this 3 HP fire galley. Gonna kill all this fish, but at the same time, oh, just passing. At the same time, the fires here are contesting any chance for the Malian player to get their own fish out. But we do have 2 TCs up now for Cabbage, and only 1 for the Swedish Beast. That Vil bravely sacrificed their life so that the rest could escape. Maybe this one will too. Oh, we do see a forward castle dropped on the home TC. This is not a huge deal, actually, for Cabbage. It will remove their advantage, 2 TCs. It means they won't be able to produce as many quickly until they drop another TC, which they certainly have the stone for. You could get some Genoese crossbowmen, but there's not really any reason to. There's no enemy for that. That being said, I still like, you know, securing this gold, killing the TC. You and making sure you squeeze your opponent into this corner here so they don't have as much space. Navy is cleaned up. And go ahead and put these builds back to work. Yeah, second TC is dropped. Yeah, I would say put it over here maybe instead. Get another wood line, get another gold, but that's also fine, to be honest. These vills are probably going to save themselves. As long as they're produced over here, they should not be hit by the castle, so that's just fine. A couple crossbowmen just sort of going under the fire. We have a mango as well. Yeah, so this is a nice TC placed here as well to defend these vills. This one, a little unfortunate. Yeah, I mean, you bring your mango out and kill these. It's quite irritating for teal, but I think that TC will go up soon enough. Oh, we see quite a bit of eco from purple player over here, but no second TC just yet. That could end up causing them some real trouble. Yep, so TC is going to come up. And so Mango can beat this, but you're going to need to repair it. Because as it is garrison, it's going to do a lot of damage. And okay, it's pulled back. So we can actually kill this if we repair this Mango. And I would like to see the tower killed for sure, because it is it kind of gives purple quite a bit of space to work with over here. You don't need this golden stone right now, but at some point you probably will. Ooh, nice micro. And yeah, nice job from the Swedish beast. Oh my god, sorry, it's too many. It makes me feel like I have a lisp or something. I should never try and say their full name unless I have a lot of time to work with. Yeah, the fort castles. Oh, that one vill died with a rubble. Tragic. Another castle. I wonder if this is to kill the tower. It is good if you're gonna make more Gibetos. You only have one right now. I think it's because again we're missing food. Ooh, I missed these stone walls. I think this is a full wall probably. Sometimes you have trouble. It's a little awkward placing walls on a shoreline. Ooh, we see another forward castle. Teal can see this, but do something about it. The Mango will be able to kill these vills. You can either target ground or hold down Alt, and it won't click on the castle. Ooh, yeah, I think this does not go up. There's also no army to back it up. Yeah, there's no way. Very nice to have that Mango there. Good reaction. So I don't mind the castle per se. I kind of wish if it was a little further forward. You could cover one of these choke points here. Some army coming in from Italians. We don't really have any army from Teal to defend against this. So if we bring in some more vills, we could actually get this castle up, which could be a problem. We only have the first armor of the camel. And these crossbows, they don't have bodkin. We actually have 0 on gold for purple. So yeah, I think this castle will go up with his army support. We're going to need to see some more army from the Malian player. Mangonel is good, but it's going to need some support. You could either get some, get some cavalry units out. Could get some more Gibetos. I don't mind that either. Could also look for some Rax units. You could get extra Pierce armor as the Malian, so I think it should do okay depending on the situation against the crossbows. But yeah, with these all these crossbows out, we're not going to be able to contest with a single Mango because the Mango can get... Whoa! Okay, that is a nice shot. But unfortunately, the castle will go up because the Mango is distracted. Distracted by these crossbows. And the castle does go up. Now, as a Malian player, you have 2 castles. If you got it to imp first, you could definitely win the treble war. But you would need more res. This TC is going to go down. Another option is petards, but those are quite expensive. I do like adding a TC here. That's very nice. I would really like to see just, drop some more farms. Get your farming eco much better. We only have 6 on food right now. This is still a pretty secure area, right? The opponent doesn't have the siege. They don't have trebs or bomber cannons yet to be able to push in here. And still, only just now the second TC for purple. So, if you have 2 castles against 1, try and go up to imp, get the trebs, and knock this castle down. Hey, do you also get bomber cannons? Oh, you do get bomber cannons and Malians as well. Trebs are just fine though. But we still, I think the real thing we've been missing from Teal is we haven't really seen a single military unit committed to? We saw some Gibettos. We didn't see a commitment to. We see Pivise from the Italians, which I think is, I don't remember the exact numbers, but it's extra armor on their foot archers. It might be +1, +2. Or maybe it's just +1, +1. Either way, we'll make them slightly tankier than normal. Okay, great. We do see Imp clicked from Cabbage. Okay, we're going to see Elite Skirm. I guess that's fine. You know, we've seen only crossbow from our opponent. So, you know, get some Skirm out. I don't mind it as long as we commit to it. We do need Bodkin. We're going to need the armor as well. Especially against crossbow, or Italian crossbow. But I don't mind it. We are going to need some ranges out to produce that, though. Is the one researching. We're going to see, hopefully see a few more. I think Purple's going to try and look for some damage with these man-at-arms, but, well, actually, it might be able to get in here, but other than that, it's pretty well fortified from Teal. Another castle? This is, I think this is a little unnecessary. You already have 2 castles here. I would say save that stone until you knock this castle down and then go forward with this. Or at least, it doesn't have to be super far forward. Maybe, you know, just like here or something. Fortify another position. You're not even able to afford producing out of 3 castles anyway, so it's a little unnecessary. See, a little bit of micro battle. These fires are going to come in use and finally kill these man-at-arms, although they weren't doing too much, but they're at least good that they had those there. And Italian players not yet up to Imp. This really doesn't have the food eco for it just yet. More ranges being dropped. We're going to see more and more crossbows, which is good. Ooh, just passing moment there. Saved half of those half of those crossbows though. Could have been much worse. Thumb ring coming in. Hopefully we'll see Bodkin as well. But let's see what they do when they get to clicking wheelbro, clicking all your. I do like getting the eco upgrades, but means we're not gonna be able to get Trebs out right away, which is really what we want. But we do have 40 on wood, so hopefully that'll catch up pretty soon. There's a nice eco lead for Teal. Okay, we do see Treb. All right, but I think, like I said, I think it's a little excessive to have this 3rd one here. Another castle, another forward castle. It's good. Oh, okay. You see a counter castle. I think. Okay, well, this is interesting. I think we are gonna see. It might come up first if all these mills come around, but it's kind of cramped. It's kind of awkward. We have a Treb coming in. Our opponent isn't in it. We don't really need to do this, but I think it's a little wasteful of all your stone. But we could make a whole bunch of Gibettos, though, if we want to. You see, you have the wood. I hope we see some more Trebs. These crossbow might try and kill this, but oh yeah, okay, pushed them away. Very good. But yeah, our opponent still not. They still haven't clicked Imp yet, so we're still in a pretty good position. This castle's nicely defending this spot. This castle's gonna go down. So I think that's quite ambitious from Purple to drop that forward castle when your opponent is at Imp. But you did force the castle out of this, which I actually think is kind of good. Probably not worth it, to be honest, but it at least blocks up some farm space and gives them another castle back here that's not over here. Ooh, that's a very sneaky sneak back there, forcing some vills away. Gonna have to wall that up at some point. Imp is now coming in for the Italian player, but it's quite a ways away. I think these Trebs are definitely going to clean up this castle before the Italian player's in Imp. Still kind of missing the army count, though, I would say, for Cabbage. I think that's a big thing. We saw teching into Skirm, kind of, but missing Bodkin, missing the armor, and not really enough ranges to produce more. Seeing some more Gibettos, which is nice. We do have 4 Trebs, which will clean this up pretty well. Purple's doing a good job of being annoying with these crossbow. Can do some real damage. These skirmishes will hopefully clean things up eventually, but these vills will die. Castle goes down. More mangoes coming out from the Malian player. Another castle. This is, I would say, another poor usage of taxpayer stone, I would say. This stone is almost done. I mean, I get the idea, right? You want to protect yourself from all these crossbows, but it's like 6 crossbows. Better to lose the vills and just make another TC so you can remake your vills. But Purple did a good job of also coming back again. Very annoying. I would also be quite annoyed if I was Teal here. So Imp will be in for Purple. They do have a castle to make trebs. And they can also make bombards as the Italians. But are we going to be able to beat all of this? Very defensive position. Eventually, Teal will run out of resources here and will need to push forward and expand. So that could be an issue, but we're not there yet. We are getting some more military, which I like to see from Teal. Our eco balance is a little off, even as the Malians. We're not Saracens, so need some more build. I think part of that is just, yeah, I think part of that was the garrisoning from all of the purple archers coming around the side. I wonder if Teal, I don't blame you, Teal. I think you may have forgotten about this hole here. This happens to all of us, of course. You know, you have a hole and you're like, oh, like, how did I totally forget about that? And then you forget to plug it up, which is a problem. But hopefully, you know, you have this forward position now. That's quite nice. We see some more Gebettas coming out. Love to see that. See some more skirms. We see, okay, looks like we're gonna go for Farimba cavalry, which I don't mind per se. As the Italians, we can make those Italian Genoese crossbows, which can be an issue for going cavalry. But if we just go sort of light cav, we do some raiding, we do some serious damage. The castle's all the way over here, right? So they can't really defend this. You can't produce out of that and send units all the way over there. It's going to take you forever. So I don't mind that if these cavalry are used to, you know, raid. University coming in as well. We have 16 Gebettas now. We actually could raid with these for sure, especially with the iron casting coming in. These could do some nice work. We actually have double our opponent's military now. We see this one stable, but I think this should be blocked. It actually might be a hole here. I'm not sure. But if we get Farimba in, our cavalry will be the enemy's cavalry. Which I don't think... It's not in just yet. But I see... We're getting bloodlines. We're getting the upgrades. Nice to see. We're also getting... I think this is probably for the Gebetto, the scale armor. Cavaliers coming in for purple. Doing a good job. Good job from Teal to keep making vills. Keep those TCs running. This stone will run out soon. Still have this stone. Still have this gold. This is gold. But, we still have this gold. I mean, we've still quite a lot of res. But like I said, at some point it's going to run out. And we're going to want to have to push forward. Let's see when that time comes. We have 7 trebs now. It's pretty threatening. You could kill... I don't know. I think that's probably one volley from all of them would instantly kill that TC. Could be wrong, though. Okay, great. We do see light cap coming in, which I like to see. So, you know, even though our opponent has the Genoese crossbow option... Well, one, they're just kind of well... or poorly positioned to... oh, we see another castle. Teal. I like dropping the castles, but you have all this army. Why don't you go a little further forward, see what's going on, and secure a more forward position. It's not like you're producing out of all these castles at the same time. That being said, I do like the fact that you have... What is this? It'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 castles, and your opponent only has 1. Very nice to have destroyed both of those forward purple castles. Do we get Hussar as Malians? No, we don't, just like Cav. But they'll still be fine as long as we have Farimba, which I don't think is in just yet. But presumably, we will see that at some point. More stables. Starting to get a little cramped. Again, that's like another problem with not pushing forward enough. We're kind of squeezed in here. That being said, we still have a pretty nice position as Teal. I mean, the purple player is giving us a lot of time, but we are also giving them a lot of time. Oh, look at this nice farming. I'm not gonna comment. This is just so they can step between the farms, right? They don't mess up their crops. But we'll see. It looks like Cavaliers the play for the Beast, which is not a terrible option. We can make camels as the Malians. Tigwai is coming in, which makes their TCs fire. Is it 5 arrows? I think it makes them fire 5 arrows without being garrisoned. It's a nice defensive option. Hopefully we see Farimba with all this cavalry. And a cannon galleon too. Ooh, where is that? That could be a nice option to, it's not too much you can hit, but you can kill some of these buildings. Deny some coastline access from your opponent, which is good. Chemistry coming in from purple. And War Galley coming in as well. So it's a bit of a massing up phase for both opponents. I'm actually going to fast forward here a little bit. No offense to either players, but it's kind of more of the same going on. We're sort of massing up our army, massing up our eco. Some more houses drop to the back. And there's a nice eco lead from Teal. And, okay, it looks like we're now moving out. We're going to go for a forward push. We do have Fernba in. And we're getting pushed back by the Expos. No need to be worried about that. You can just go around the side. Or, honestly, even if you just kill those, it's not terrible. Okay, we do see the second armor. Hopefully the third armor coming as well, which is nice. Single cannon galleon from the Malians is going to do some damage. Be annoying. Kill some of these production units. You see a workshop coming in. I think this is probably for bombard cannon. You know, we don't really have a castle in position. Okay, we see another forward castle. Okay. I would still say I would like it a little more forward, but I do like that Teal's now pushing forward. And we have 200 pop now. It's good to move out, secure this position with this castle. And it's going to be kind of hard for purple to stop this. Doesn't have as big of a military. It's quite a big mass of Cavalier. I'm not sure how they'll contend, but should do quite well. I'm not sure how Gibetos do versus Cavalier, to be honest. They should do decently, as long as they're not sort of attacked. They're only 40 HP. So they're going to have to keep their distance. Use these light cav as a sort of meat shield, if you will. Architecture coming in for our Malian player. And we have our 7 trebs coming forward. But the bomber cannon might be able to snipe these trebs. See how this battle pans out. Cavalier coming in to kill all the trebs, which is a great play. The bomber cannon is sniped. You can also snipe this treb. But all the trebs are going to go down for the Malian player, which is very unfortunate. They still have a much bigger eco. So they can replace all of that, and purple's losing a lot of military here. Another cannon's coming in, which is cheaper for the Italians. It is still fairly expensive. You don't want to lose that. Does die to the light cav. Single Gibeto, just sort of, yep. Being very brave, but bravery rather, doesn't always pay off. I would like to see these light cav go around the sides and get some damage in. Could either damage here, or even go back home. Single Mango is going to work on this house here. Good snipe. I'm not sure it's worth 2 Cavalier, but at least protect whoever's living here. And, you know, if these light cav get some kills in the Cavalier, that's a good good deal, I would say, for Cabbage. Still more army from Cabbage as well. And looks like Purple's going to stick to Cavalier, which, you know, are a good unit, but not great against what Teal has. Looks like, you know, with the... And also with camels being added as well. With the cavalry in the front and the Gibetos kind of behind, should be able to deal with everything that Purple has. And now we're also going into Scout Cavalry. This eco is still untouched for Purple, which is very good for them. But we can see now Teal has advanced forward and is commanding a lot of space. And those Frimba Light Cav are going to clean up quite nicely. See, Cabbage is still close to 200 pop, and the Italian player is now dropping to about 115. It's not good news, and now these you can push forward and start killing some bills, which is really bad for Purple. And part of the awkward thing now is you kind of, when you're fighting against this, you know, you kind of want, you don't get halb. You don't get halberdier as the Italian. So you want Genoese crossbow usually as our counter to cavalry. We have some skirms, we have some gibettos, which I think are outranged by Genoese crossbows. But we also only have one castle, so it's kind of awkward to produce that. We do have hussars, which I actually think should probably still lose. Although we're missing a few attack upgrades from the Italian player. So they might do okay, but we might also just lose because it's from Relika. And although to be honest, probably the main thing is that TL has such a nice eco and is keeping the pressure on, is having this nice big push. It's gonna be hard for purple to be able to mass a big enough army. And yeah, we're still pop cap for teal, so gonna have more to work with than purple does. We have a nice amount of production buildings here as well. Looks like 11 stables here. One is the back. That's gonna take a while, but it's still there. And these troops are gonna come forward, and we're gonna be able to kill this TC. And purple's gonna lose a lot of space here. Defensive castle being placed. But this is probably going to get pushed back by teal. We don't really have anything to fight against these, to pick off these trebs as purple. Oh, I never really get to hear the noise of the gibettos. It's a nice swishing sound. And they will kill buildings pretty quickly. Trebs are quite far forward. Purple's going to go for a snipe again. I think should be able to defend this off this time, though. Hussars coming in. See if they can get some damage. It might be trying to snipe these trebs, but teal has cavalry well placed to defend. It's going to keep reducing. It's going to be hard for purple to push this back. You could consider trying going around the back here, but you don't have anything. I mean, you can make some trebs, of course. But this navy is actually well placed to defend things for teal. And we kind of just don't have the numbers for purple now to push this back. Trebs are going to come forward, going to be supported by all of this military. This cannon gun is going to slowly kill all these production buildings. Hussars looking for some damage, but with this walled here and this castle in place. Oh, somehow there's another hole. It's kind of reminiscent of this, which is also now deforested at this point. But yeah, with all these castles in place, it's very well fortified for teal. It's going to be very hard for purple to find any damage. This castle's going to go down, and the GG is called there. Very nice. Very well played by Cabbage here. Although I did, I wished that some of these castles were placed a little further away, defend a few more areas of control. It was very good defense to get up to Imp. You know, with all our castles, we could make many more trebs, even if our opponent was in Imperial Age. And we just had a kind of a better eco for teal, right? Kind of the opposite case from the previous game. Oops. From the previous game where purple had a stronger eco, was able to make way more knights and mass things up. This time teal had a much better eco, was able to make way more army, is able to push purple away. And the castles were nicely able to defend Cabbage from Swedish's push. So, you know, if you look at this, what would purple do? It's kind of, I'm not sure what kind of comp you would go for as a Swedish player, or the Swedish player, I said it again. As the purple player, as against Italians. You have some gibettos, right? You could make hand cannons against that, but not really the best option. You could just go for mass arbs, though, to be honest, which is probably a good idea. I don't mind the Cavalier either, but I think there just wasn't quite enough to push against this defensive position. Just kind of too much for the Malian player, and also the Malian player had their Firma cavalry. And there was a few moments where some man-at-arms came over here. I did see, there was also the time when the Expos came around back from purple and did some serious damage. But I think the real problem was that purple kind of had an advantage with the military and the positioning, but just wasn't able to capitalize on it, and teal defended quite well. So was able to pick up the win here. So we are on to game number 3 for this set. Hello everyone, we have here game number 3 of this specialist hybrid set. We have here in the teal pickled cabbage on the Spanish, and in the purple here on the eastern side, you could say, the Saracens, DaSwedishbeast, who I think I'll just stick to my convention I've been using and refer to them as the Beast or something of that sort. And this will be the deciding match for this set because both players have gone 1-1. I would say they both have had both gotten in sort of the driver's seat in their past matches in this set, where one player had sort of the major eco advantage and then the other had the major eco advantage, and it gave them a leg up to make enough army and basically just overwhelm the opponent eventually. And we're here on an interesting map. This is El Dorado. Of course, the name coming from the Spanish word, which I don't know what the literal translation is, but you know, it refers to the City of Gold, and it is in this particular map that is referring to this middle pile of minerals, this massive stockpile of stone and gold. So what's going to be super important on this map is to make sure you're able to secure this area. Kind of similar to how on the map Shoals, where on Shoals there isn't one pit of minerals in the middle, but on the sides is all of the gold and stone that you want. So you have to expand forward. This one is a little more cramped, and you can see it's very close. It's actually a little closer to purple here, but, you know, teal still has plenty of space for it. But this is still a hybrid map. There are fish. I think the fish will still be worth it for sure, especially because considering another interesting sort of quirk about this map is the fact that you can't actually drop farms around your home TC. So at some point, right, you're gonna drop a mill and presumably add farms at some point. But the fact that you can't farm around your home TC means they are not as readily secure. Pretty nice actually here, although the hills are awkward, auto farms will be nice for adding farms. You know, you could wall off this here and have a nice little alcove for farming. Or you could also do that over around here for your, you know, where your gold pile is. And eventually you will have to do that. The fish will serve well, but they're quite far away, so you will have to redock at some point. But it's also not a bad option. I think it is still worth going for the fish, but you probably don't want to overinvest. That's always a question on hybrid maps of how much you want to invest on land versus how much you invest on water. And that is a tricky balance to strike. I think I'm pretty terrible, and I tend to just forget about water after I set up like 4 or 5 fishing ships. I just kind of forget that it exists, and then I just go for some land aggression, which can work. You just have to be cautious because sometimes, depending on the map, your opponent might have a huge eco lead because they have all fish, so they killed your fish, and you have none. So you really have to use the wood savings and the gold savings from not investing on military on the water to make sure you put pressure on your enemy. And the land is extra important on this map, of course, because eventually your gold and stone's going to run out. Right, we have this gold pit for the teal player and this stone pit for the teal player as well. The gold is also kind of far away for purple, but it is close to the berries at least, which is nice. And it's not too hard to wall this kind of wood line here. A little awkward because we have the wood line over here, but of course I think that is placed nicely for the fish. So we'll just have to keep that in mind. If you sort of go over here to get the berries and the gold, you're kind of spreading yourself a little bit. I wouldn't say thin, but you just have to keep in mind the different spots you have. Of course, we have the same issue for pickled cabbage here. So we'll see what they go for. Of course, something to keep in mind, right? If you want to go for military on water, you will need to grab gold. Similar to if you were opening archers, because all of the military on the water does cost gold. Of course, your Saracens, you want to go for gold anyway because they don't believe in normal resource collecting. They believe in fixing the market and using that as their economy bonus. So when I look at these, this sort of Civ matchup, you know, generally I would probably prefer the Saracens. Spanish, you know, obviously conquistadors are their strongest point, a fitting sort of name as well for this map. They're a very strong option. And that is something you always have to be aware of as the Spanish. Oh, town bell to get a shot on the scout. Unfortunately, it doesn't quite land. So
The Conquistador is something you have to be aware of, especially if you get a forward castle here to secure this middle sort of patch of minerals. But, you know, going on a fast castle on this map can be a little dangerous, can sort of cede the middle, cede your army control. I'm not sure if that's really worth it. And then, of course, you know, as purple, with the Saracens, you have great camels, which are good against cavalry. That is sort of a main option the Spanish usually want to go. If they don't go for conquistadors, they want to go for their cavalry because they get some nice paladins. So it's a bit of an awkward matchup, I would say, for the Spanish. But they do have perfectly fine halbs, so they can use that to their advantage just fine. And, you know, opening scouts is also okay. It's just something you have to keep in mind when you transition to castle. When you go up against a strong camel civ, and you're, you know, one of your biggest strengths is your cavalry, you have to consider how are you going to work with that. It's just fine, to be honest. I think if you had, say, like Hal Paladin versus the camels, I think that should still do okay. Of course, you know, camels being one of their worst countered is going to be spears in general. And Teal's clicked up and has already trained some spears. I love to see that. Very good if your opponent opens scouts, and also just sort of nice to have as well, just in general. Have some sort of military presence, and you can use them to scout as well if you lose your initial unit. We see a blacksmith dropped, which does make me think that the Spanish player is going to go for some sort of fast castle play. Oh, sorry. I'm completely wrong. I mixed up. This is the Saracen player. So you see... I'm not sure what this mill is over here. I think this is a mill dropped to grab some... Well, basically to get the market. You need to build a market before you can build the market. And the market is the main Saracen bonus. But I'm not sure why it's not being built here on the berries. I mean, I think this will be farmed around, which is totally fine. But I don't know why it isn't placed on the berries. Probably what could have happened for the beast is just maybe they want to drop a market. They forgot about it. They dropped a mill. And yeah, I mean, they wanted a market. Which I understand. I've done that mistake all the time. It's not usually something you think about, because usually you drop the mill. I think the fact that it was a hybrid setup is what made it a little peculiar. And so we do see a fire out for the Spanish player. Just one fire for now. That will clean up everything that purple has, which will be bad, but it's not horrible, because the fish are going to start becoming quite inefficient if there's no redock. The market is up, so actually it kind of looks like both players are going to go for some kind of fast castle play here, which is interesting. Might try and secure the middle with a forward castle from either player. Indeed, the Saracen has clicked up. They're dropping a barracks. I assume that's probably going to be for a stable, going into camels against the Spanish, which is a good idea. Teal walling up here, and we'll probably click up to Castle Age pretty soon, dropping a blacksmith. We'll need one more building. Does have the mill already, so it can drop the market. So no early aggression just yet. The fire galley is just sitting there, trying to see what it can get away with. You know, maybe think about deserting or just lazing around. But eventually that will probably come around and kill some of this fish. I don't think purple is very interested in investing on the military side of things. I don't see either player on stone just yet, and the Saracen player did also sell their stone. So it looks like they might just be going into camels, which is not a bad idea. You have extra HP you have extra HP on your camels as the Saracens, which are quite good. And we do see the click up from the Spanish player now. So yeah, so it's going to be both players going for Castle Age. No sort of early feudal aggression. We do actually see a fire coming out for Saracen player. I think they wanted to secure their Castle Age first before investing in any military. Again, we do have a teal here. This might be for defense, but I really like to see it go on the aggressive. But it is still handy to have in the case that your opponent try and has some sort of aggression. See stonewalling as well. I would personally prefer to see stonewall in your gold, or stonewall in some of the center minerals, because those will run out, or rather, your starting resources will run out, and you will need to expand at some point. Spanish player is heavily on stone. We see 14 on stone right here, and they are going to go for their fast castle conks move. However, the fact that the Saracen player is in castle already means they will gonna have I don't know what that means. They will have better options. We have a single knight out, which I don't mind the knights out for Saracens. It's not a long-term option, but perfectly fine in Castle Age, so not a big deal. If you see conks from your opponent, you're going to want to think, especially the fact that you're in Castle Age, probably want to drop a monastery too. It's also good against if your opponent goes for knights, and it's good for conquistadors. You can also go skirms, and camels are also fine in general, but it sort of depends. If there's pretty good micro, then they can get away without too much trouble. And we do see Teal suffering for not having walled in their gold, but I don't think we're gonna lose.
See?
Yeah, we're not gonna lose anything just yet. So that's just fine. Castle going up. I would. Well, I don't mind it. I wish, to be honest, though, it was more forward, covered more of the middle sort of section. But I wouldn't be surprised if Cabbage is a little concerned. Well, actually, oh yeah, so you can actually see all of the minerals at all times. So honestly, put a little more forward, cover more terrain. But I don't mind it. You know, it still covers your gold that you're going to want to take. So that's still a good thing to have. We see knights coming out for Cabbage as well. And as the Saracen player, when you see your opponent is on knights, you're going to want to go camels. We see redock, which is very nice for the extra efficiency. Do we see... I don't see a redock for Teal yet. Might consider going up here. Galley is over there, but... nothing yet. So yeah, you see camels... or sorry, you see knights from your opponent. You're the Saracens. Go for camels. And also you see a castle as well. So you're going to expect conquistadors. Those are going to be an issue. But like I said, get some camels out. Ah, great. Love to see it. Drop the monastery. Conquistadors are, of course, mounted. And it's not like they're very slow, but they're still fairly sluggish. They're kind of like a knight in that regard. Of course, they can shoot down monks, but you need to have enough. And also, they're kind of inaccurate at longer ranges. So especially if you have camels, monks, etc. And they're also extremely expensive, so that's a very good fit for a monk. See an expansion from the Teal player. At some point, you could think about also expanding into the middle section. These two purple Knight and Scout just hanging out. Tired after being whacked a bunch by spears. And I think we're going to probably see more conks where you don't really have enough food. So this is a problem on the map, right? This is kind of something you run into in every hybrid map, but especially this because the fish is so far apart. You're going to need to transition to some farms. And yeah, we can see that this is a nice TC for that actually. We do see the Teal player having 2 fires, which... able to clear things up, but because of this redock, the purple player is able to get over here, and their fish is just fine. But this one dock is now contested. Yeah, and TC added in the middle makes sense, but we are going to see some aggression from the Spanish player. TC does go up, but we do get looks like 3 picks, but that will push away these enemies now. And losing a conquistador there is quite unfortunate. Conquistador, Saracen player is still on knights, which I would like to see some camels, but if you have more knights than your opponent, that will still work better for you. We're missing bloodlines and armor. Oh, sorry. That's the other player. I've mixed everything up. You know what it is? The Teal, for me, on the dashboard, right, the Teal player is on the right, but on the map, the purple player is on the right. That's why I keep mixing things up. That's what I'll tell myself, and not that I'm just horribly incompetent. But as it currently stands, the Saracen player does have more knights. They are missing some upgrades. Oh, sorry, I mixed it up again. My apologies. They have better upgrades and there's more of them. So even though they're not camels, they will still do better. But we do see a nice center castle here. Ooh, and a siege workshop. So I like that. You see the forward TC, you have a nice castle. You can sit a mangonel under this castle and just, you know, knock down this TC. And the Saracen player is going to run into some trouble now, right? They do have a TC to secure this gold. And it's still out of castle range, thankfully. But, you know, they're about to run out of this patch. They need to go here. And this is kind of a contested, dangerous area. And we haven't done too much damage to their eco. And the Spanish player with these nice castles has secured the center for themselves. So it's not going to be too much trouble for them when this patch runs out. They can go into the center. That's what the Spanish do. They go for all of the gold. University dropped from purple. I think purple might be thinking about going up to imp, which is what we see. Probably to kill these castles, which I can see the logic of. We don't have a castle of our own to produce Trebs, but we are mining stone, so I think that is the idea. Go up to castle, get an imp, and make some Trebs to kill the castle, which I think is a good idea. But, you know, if our Trebs are unprotected, they could still be sniped. But we do have this nice patch of knights here. And especially when we're going into Imperial Age, I really love to see a transition to camels. Now, these knights are perfectly fine. You know, you can use them to defend. They're very good. But you don't get Cavalier or anything like that in the Imperial Age as the Saracens. So, and your opponent is also going to be on stable units. So you're quite well positioned to go into camels. But we'll see what the move is here. Okay, yeah, we do see camels produced, which is very nice. We're still missing the second armor, but our opponent is missing more upgrades. And only has 2 conquistadors and 2 knights. If we had 2 scout cavalry, we'd have a almost perfect line of 2s for the Spanish player. It's a nice run. Pair of, or that's not, a pair is 2 things. It's not really a pair of 4 things, is it? Anyway, we have some nice space here secured as well for the Spanish player, Cabbage, so we can get some nice farms up. We still have that here for the Saracen player because they aren't being contested at home, but space is kind of cramped on this map because of these sort of large clumps of wood, and the middle being the way it is. Teal player scouting around. We see a castle coming up. It's nice to secure some of the middle. I mean, yeah, you don't want to go too far forward because your opponent has this area secured. So you do want it to be secure yourself. We'll see if this goes up. There is enough army from purple that I think this should be fine. But I guess we'll have to see how teal reacts. And yeah, we're up to imp. Unfortunately, our castle isn't up immediately, so we can't produce trebs right away. But hopefully we should get this up pretty soon. Okay, so teal is going to try and contest. And the purple knights are probably going to be able to defend this off. It is 10 knights. There are also 3 camels, which are hanging out over there. They're pining after their brother in the boats, because they remember when they used to be considered ships as well. So nice castle up. We're going to see some trebs. Well, we're out of gold currently. We can sell some, though, as the Saracens get a treb up. Our opponent is not an imp and is quite a ways away from imp as well. Yeah, treb being produced. We'll see how teal handles this aggression. I think his mangonel was to knock down this TC, but now with all the army and the castle that purple has, it is quite threatened. Ooh, nice snipe on a monk there.
Amron.
So, as a Spanish, you're up against camels. You're gonna want to go spears, for sure. You can go conchs as well. Okay, yeah, we do see multiple racks, so I think we are gonna see the pike switch. Of course, our opponent is an imp, which is a problem for our castles, because we don't have anything to kill their castle, but they have stuff for ours. That being said, we can save up for imp. We're definitely going to need some spears, one way or another, to go against the opponent's cavalry units. Single conch is nice, but not as nice as much more than that. I like the expansion over here, but we do really need to make sure we fight for the center, because that is where all of the minerals are. There's also a nice eco lead for Cabbage. Added a second TC earlier, and purple's TC here, you know, kind of an awkward place to produce vills out of. Just one trap out, another one coming soon. And this will eventually kill this castle, especially with no trebs of the Spanish player's own. But I think we're going to see imp clicked pretty soon. So getting pikes out. I think we're saving up for imp. So yeah, we clicked imp. Now I'd like to see more pikes being produced. And also grab some of the armor upgrades. Two trebs now. Both players do get bomb arcane as well, which are good for sniping trebs. But you do have to research chemistry for that as well. So it's kind of easier to just produce trebs immediately. Spanish player could also go for some raids. We have some exposed vills over here and over here. They're kind of, you know, behind the castle, but you can go around, right? But we don't really have much military for Teal to do that with currently. Castle does go down, but we still have this one. We should be up to imp before this castle is able to be destroyed. We're gonna need to drop some more barracks at the back, because these are gonna get cleaned up. There's a mass exodus from the vills. Ooh, a nice forward castle here in the... I think they picked up some of the stone that the Spanish were using for their own castle as it was collapsed. Yeah, purple guy got kicked out of the center, but now has taken the stand again. Ooh, we have a nice bit of conks here. I think there should be enough knights to divert fire, and there's going to be more vills coming in. If you run into a situation like this, and you want to be killing vills like this, you should hold down Alt. It will ignore any commands to click on the building, so you can just click on the vills. But either way, I don't think there's any way that was going to be denied. There's just too many vills, too many knights. Now, I said they should be up to imp first, but actually this castle is going down quite quickly. But we do see a castle drop back here, which would be good for getting ourselves some trebs. This doesn't look great for Teal, for Cabbage, but it's not over. We can get some barracks at the back. We can produce a bunch of spears and make them into halbs. We could also go for some raids. And I wouldn't say this is worth it. Your castle's gonna go down either way, just too many trebs. And you can wait for like your opponent to take a much more forward position and then try and snipe the trebs. Right now you're kind of wasting too much stone. I mean, it's good to get the treb out, but you have this back castle, so just make trebs out of here instead. I do like that Bodkin's in for Teal. You do want to get Fletching and Bodkin, even if you're not on a range unit. It's just sort of nice to have for your castles and for your TCs as well. And even ballistics, so that's kind of less important, but you will want that at some point. Just in general, they're very nice for your defenses. But even with being pushed out of the center, Teal does have a very nice Vill lead. They've done a good job of making more Vills. And the fish are still, you know, they're still collecting. Purple has done a good job too of redocking for their ships. Oh, another forward castle. Is this oh, that's not the right player. Oh, I don't think... Well, actually... I mean, you do have the trap, so you can kill this TC anyway, but I would really like to see just put it on the TC anyway. I don't know if you can range this one, but if you could as well, that would be great. But either way, we have a nice position. This castle will defend these trebs, and we can knock this one down. We do have some treb up for the Spanish player, and more coming in. And Mamluks are coming out now. So Mamluks will do well versus Conquistadors if they get in close, but they are quite short range. They only have 3 range. And in theory, again, you know, they will do well versus pikes, but they have to be microed. And they're also quite expensive, so you really don't want to lose them. And that after seeing the threat of the Spanish army, that Mamluk decided they were on the losing side. The TC is destroyed. You see a little bit of a treb war. Purple should win this just by the fact of having more trebs, but it is just kind of random chance. We don't have much army out for purple though, even though we have the middle secured. But if we're able to defend for long enough, you know, we should be able to starve out the Spanish player because they don't have any access to minerals. That being said, their main unit, halbs, right, they don't cost any gold. But they are less strong than, you know, Mamluks or Camels or whatever, or hand cannoneers, right, in general. I think the Vills are coming forward to try and fight this treb. I feel like that is a little unnecessary. You know, if you're Saracens, you see your opponents on spears, on pikes, you can just go into hand cannoneer, or even arbalester if you want. You could also go for a bombard cannon to kill these trebs if that's what you're worried about. Because right now it's just kind of random chance. I think there is an elevation difference as well. It's kind of hard to tell. So that's also going to do quite poorly for you as the Saracen player. But you know, we have you know, plenty of gold. We're kind of low on the food eco. But we can definitely make some hand cannoneers if we want. Unfortunately, yeah, so I think it's the elevation and just kind of random chance. I've kind of lost this treb war. I don't think it's really worth investing in. Teal still has the eco advantage here. So we'll see if purple's able to clear up. My goodness, sorry, my speech is just very difficult today. Close up that gap, rather, is what I wanted to say. I think the other thing is we don't have chemistry in for purple. We do have a university. We could research that in. So if we had chemistry, we could definitely make some hand cannoneers. More trebs is also fine, but you know, we ideally want something to deal with this army because these trebs are going to continue to be a problem for our castles here. Oh, and if another castle is dropped, that could also be an issue for us. So he wants them to clear this up. And it's mostly pikes. So if we have hand cannoneers, that would be just fine. Alternatively, we could look for where our opponent's eco is and do some damage. We do see ranges. I see elite skirm, which I don't mind, to be honest. I'd rather you pick a unit than no units at all. Yeah, we're up to 3 trebs now, or a 4th coming in for the Spanish player. And once this castle goes down, we can actually see, well, we don't quite have the stone, but Cabbage might be thinking about taking the stones that the Saracen player used from the Spanish player's original castle and building a new castle here to take over. Because they currently have the army lead, so they can definitely push forward. I would like to see Halb at some point, but I think the lack of gold is the reason we didn't see that upgrade, which, fair enough. But we can definitely sell some of that wood to get enough to upgrade these, because that would be great. However, we are fighting against Saracen Knights, so we should do okay. Saracen Knights missing 2 the armors as well. But now we have a nice forward position from PickledCabbage again. This is kind of gonna quite back and forth between both players. Skirms are out for purple, which, you know, they'll do just fine against the pikes. They also will do fine against conks as well, so that's good as well. I don't think we're going to see any more conquistadors from Cabbage. Oh, and the GG is called. Fair enough. So that's very interesting. We saw the sort of just how important the middle was, right? Initially, PickledCabbage did take the middle with a nice sort of chain of castles. I think it was actually this exact position where one of those placed and one of those placed here. And the fact that the Saracen player also had their sort of second TC built here in the center was a big problem for them. Going up to Imp was very good for them because then they were able to make trebs and then kick the Spanish player back out. And that was definitely an issue, being starved of gold and stone. However, there's enough stone banked up, able to get enough trebs out, hold this position with some nice army, and then kick the Saracen player out. So again, this is sort of the main thing. I was sort of expecting some sort of feudal aggression, but I understood the sort of play for some fast castle and the conquistadors, and also you kind of think about it as the Saracen player. Well, maybe I just go for fast castle to fight against the conquistadors because I have better options there. But I think the main problem that the Beast ran into at the end there, where they were getting kicked back out, where they just didn't have any military to clean up. There was an army here that was before they had a castle, right? Once there's a castle, that's a problem because it's a nice defensive position. But before that was the case, there were just a bunch of units sitting here on the hill. And I think it would have been great to make some hand cannoneers, or if you're going to make skirms, just make a lot of them, make them much earlier while you still had a castle, so that you can, you know, defend, but sort of kick away your opponent. But yeah, so very well played by either player. Very interesting to see their methods to take control of the middle. Nice sort of a flip-flop between the both. Felt like a pretty competitive set. And that'll be it for us. That is a GG for both players. And congrats to PickledCabbage for taking the win here in this set. So that is all for me, folks. And I will see you next time.